Hey guys, what's going on? In this tutorial I'm going to show you how to do 3 different types of audio effects, as you can hear right now. Alright guys, so the first step to making the audio effects is to add on the effects that you want to use. So if you want the audio to go higher pitched, you're going to, well actually higher or lower pitched, you're going to add high-low pass. So if you want it to be higher pitched, you're going to set the cutoff frequency to around 1200. This is where it usually looks best, and make sure that you keep it on high pass. If you want it to be bassier or sound like it's underground, it'll be low pass, but I'll show you guys after this how to do that. So first, once you've done this and make sure it's on high pass and set it to 1200 frequency, you're going to keyframe the dry and wet. So the wet means that the effect is taking place, and the dry means that the effect is not taking place, or you can't hear the effect that's happening. So for me, say I want to add the high pass here. Okay, so when you first keyframe, you're going to see that the wet is on 100% and the dry is on 0%, which means that the effect is taking place. So wherever you want the effect to start, you're going to put the wet at 0 and the dry at 100, because you don't want the effect to already be taking place throughout the whole edit. And then after that, you're going to go back to the keyframes where it's wet at 100 and dry at 0, and you're going to put these keyframes wherever you want it to end. So I want it to end here because the next clip takes place after this marker. So I'm just going to highlight it and then add a graph like this. It can be any graph that's like, if you want it stiffer, the audio will have more impact and come in faster. If you want it to be slower like this, however you want. But make sure that the graph is looking like this, or I can show you guys in the actual graph. It's going to look something like this, or like slopes down. And then the audio is going to sound like this. That's what it's going to sound like. Now when you want it to exit, all you're going to do is just copy these 2 keyframes that you had in the beginning and paste them back here. Basically, so from here to here, the audio is going away, and you can add this graph again as well, so it'll sound like this. You can hear that it's coming back. Now if you have bass on your clip that you've added like this, and you have bass say at like 35, if you want it to have a higher pitched sound, you're going to want to make sure that you put this back to 0, or have this go from actually 35 to 0, because it'll have a higher pitched sound. Because if you have bass on it, it's going to make it not have as much of the effect. So if you have bass on it, you would do the same thing, have it keyframe to 0. But for me, I didn't have bass on it, so it's okay. Now if you want to do low pass, you basically do it the exact same way, except for you set this to low pass and you set this to 800. And if you guys want to have it as low pass, all you're going to do is just set this to low pass and then change the cutoff frequency to 800, because before it was at 1200, but it's not going to have as much of effect. Since they're kind of like on opposite sides of the spectrum, you're going to want this to be lower for the low pass to have more of an effect. So this is what the low pass sounds like. You can hear it gets muffled, or it kind of is like, seems like it's underground. And then if you want 2, you can just duplicate it, have one as high pass and this, and then change the keyframes from where you want it to be. So if this is the high pass, and say I want the high pass to be here, and then exit here, same thing, add the graph back, so it'll sound like this. But for me, for the sake of the video, I'm actually just going to put these like this, so that you can actually hear the difference in the audio. So there is one more effect that I could add. There's one called Flange Chorus, which is like this. It makes the audio sound like glitchy, kinda like that. This is 50 and 50%. This is how this one works. So we'll go back onto this clip. So for this one, you don't change anything unless you want to experiment with what the sounds sound like. But it's at 50 and 50%, so all you're going to do is just make the dry 100 and the wet 0. Because like I said before, dry means that the audio effect is not taking place. Wet means that it is. So if it's 50-50, it's half. But you don't want it to be taking place when you don't want it to hear the audio yet. And then all you do is copy those keyframes and paste it wherever you want it to end. So just so you know, once it's here, it's gradually going in to the glitchy audio, and then when it's here to here, it's gradually going out. Like that. That's what it sounds like. So for the video, I'm gonna put them all separate away so that you guys can actually hear the difference. And then put it here. And then add this graph back onto it. Like I said, you don't have to use this graph. You can do the graph however you want, as long as it's looking like this, or if the graph is looking like this. And you can see this is where it drops down, and then this is where it exits really fast as well. So this is what it'll sound like all together if I have all of these effects on. So thank you guys for watching. I know this is a really short tutorial, so I was just trying to keep it super simple and let you guys know how to do this, because I know a lot of people want to know how, but don't necessarily know how to make it as smooth, because some people just cut the clips and add the audio effects, but it's better to do it with the keyframes because it sounds a lot better. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and yeah, peace out.